What's up, fam? Welcome back to the show. We have a beautiful green weekly bubble here. We have Crow up 20%, Floki up 25%, Bong basically obliterating pump fund in 8 days, up 51%, XLM up 25%, Radium 22%. But the question is, can this rally be sustained? Is this just a bull trap, or we are actually gearing up for all-time highs? This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm finally back and I'm taking over Ren's slot until he is on holiday. Not that Ren's slot, but Ren's slot, you know what I mean, time slot. So if that sounds good, guys, obliterate the like button, smash the show, comment something, and also if you don't know who I am, my name is Fefe. I bring you the best alpha, I bring you trades, I bring you market analysis, stuff that you might not have known. And the whole idea of this show is that you watch this show in 25-30 minutes. You don't have to watch anything else. You can be up to date with the market. Let's get going. Well, number one, this is what I've been saying and what I've been thinking. I'm over at Crypto Live, by the way. If you're not familiar with Crypto Live, 24/7 crypto, this is our channel. This is where I do my daily live shows. And so I've been quite bullish, even at 3.27 trillion market cap 10 days ago. Here's what I said when I did the show last week. The 334 is a magnet. Like, this is inevitable, okay? So if we do this or if we do this, I don't know, but it's inevitable that we are going to get to this 3.34, and then we just... So I've been saying that we have to get to the 3.34 trillion mark, which is here. So we were down here at 3.20 something. And I've been saying that we have to get to this 3.34 trillion the total market cap. Now, if you're not familiar with the total market cap, it basically shows you every single cent within crypto, and it's a very great indication of where the whole market is moving. You can look at individual tokens as well for individual trades, but if you want to understand the market direction, you got to look at the total market cap. This is why I always look at this. Now, if you look at this on the daily, we got to the 3.34 trillion now. And if you look at this on the daily, the problem is that this is a very strong daily supply zone. So if you look at this level, you see that this level was basically the beginning of a massive dump down here to about 13% minus. Now, this was also the beginning of the Israel-Iran US situation, so you might not take it as a consideration as a strong TA level, but it's still something that I think can cause a major sell-off as a reaction to a lot of people basically taking it as a TA level. Now, what I posted, I said this is the level. If we reject here at 3.34 trillion, I do think that we are going lower. We're going to look at the chart in a second. We're not going much lower, but this rejection zone is going to have, can have a massive rejection. If we, however, are able to push above this level here, 3.44 trillion, I do believe that this pullback wasn't enough deep pullback for us to complete a 50% on this major leg, and we're most likely en route to all-time highs all the way up here, 3.7 trillion, and we're looking at 120, 130, 140,000 Bitcoin within the next 1.5-2 months. What is what will make the difference? Somebody's saying that Fefe looks different today, or Ren looks different today. I know Ren looks a little bit more handsome, a little bit taller. No, all jokes aside, Red is on holiday, so I'm taking his slot and I'm coming here to bringing you the alpha. It's gonna be a massive week, and next week we're gonna spend a lot of time together. So get ready for that. So what is the decision here? What is this really depend on if we are going to break through or not? What am I looking at? So if you look at the 4-hour chart, here's what I'm seeing. Again, like, I'm just gonna go back to the daily, sorry. So you see, this is basically this last candle. An order block is defined by the last bullish or bearish candle before an impulsive move. We have a bullish candle here, and then two massive big sell-off candle. So this here is a very big bearish order block, as we call. And as I said, I believe that this will be used as a liquidity sweep. We're going to see a sweep above these levels. I'm talking about above 3.38-ish, and then come straight into this 4-hour order block. Why is this a problem? It is a problem because when we hit these levels, there are a bunch of orders that are stayed here. A lot of people who were long here and got hit by the news didn't sell. They were down like 8%, 10%. They didn't want to sell. They will come into break even, and we can see an obliteration of these levels, meaning a massive sell-off from here. What am I looking at? I'm looking at two things. One, I'm looking at the 1-hour chart now. I want to see, first of all, this has to be taken, right? So this probably on New York Open will be taken, in my opinion, and this 3.37 trillion will get a close above, and then we have to look for rejection levels and rejection areas. One is that I'm looking at is all the way up here, 3.41 trillion. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a push, and then I want to see a 1-hour break low. So we currently have one low down here, which is the hourly low down here at 3.33. But I want to see, it can also consolidate here and then have a push above there. But what I want to see for a rejection signal, I want to see a break below the 3.35 trillion. If that happens, if we see a break below the 3.35 or the respected low that will be formed at that time, we are going to see a massive pullback from this level. Does this mean that there will be no bull market and then in the next 3-4 months we're not going to rally? No, absolutely not. But it does mean that the built up liquidity that we have right here and even right here can be taken. I'm looking at, if we reject here, if we see a 1 hour low, if we reject here, I'm looking at a 3.16 trillion retrace, which is possibly a 5, 6, 7% retrace on the total and possibly a 10, 12% on Bitcoin, about 100,000. Now, there are a bunch of things that we can look at and a bunch of things that here are my positions. If you are in the Telegram or if you follow me on X or if you just, watch 24/7 crypto or if you watch the 100x Club, you know the positions. But I'm in an ETH long, an Aptos long, a Solana long, a Sui long, a Bitcoin long, and then I have 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙 and TON. 𝗙𝗘𝗙 I already took 2.3 thousand profit and then we're down about 1.8, so it's a little bit of profit. And then here on TON, I'm getting obliterated at about 800% minus. But also my account is down because I'm layering in for the next leg up. I do believe that the next leg is coming. I do believe the next leg is going to be vicious. Let's not forget that last year, or 2021, when we've seen a massive push, Doge went like 400% just in 2 weeks in November. So it can happen, will happen. The question is when. We have to look at some catalysts though. One of the catalysts is that a lot of people are openly calling now massive targets. We're looking at 180,000, 200,000, 250,000. I did this interview with Matthew Siegel. He's the digital asset researcher at VanEck. He's the lead basically there. We're going to link it down in the description. It's quite a good short interview. You might want to watch it. It's down in the description. But he basically says at VanEck, a large asset manager, he says that their official target is a conservative 180,000. Now you see a bunch of other companies, but the big thing that markets always need is narrative. We need to have a narrative. We had the war, then everything dumped. We had the National Reserve happen. It happened. We implemented, all good. There is no real narrative that would bring retail interest into the market. This is what we need. This is what I tweeted at the end of June, and I do believe that there can be some new narratives coming now, which could trigger a massive run in crypto overall. One of the things is today there is a hearing on crypto tax. Now, it's been discussed multiple times and we've been talking about it. And there is a chat here, guys. Also, I'm going to monitor the chat. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A at the end. But it has been discussed a couple of times that you can't really see. Is it this one? This is the beeping. Do you hear the beeping here? Let me just mute this step here. Okay, so this has been discussed a couple of times already that we can have a capital gain tax or income tax reduction on crypto. It's been since the beginning of Trump's presidency, there was a discussion whether this is a possibility. And there is a hearing happening today where they potentially will discuss how this would impact the economy, how could this be implemented, and even if this is something to look for. So this is happening I think it's happening around now. So it's like 9 a.m. US time. So it's probably happening around now or half an hour later. So we're going to have massive news coming out in regards to this. Now, there's a bunch of companies, treasury companies holding. Michael Saylor and the Strategy and BlackRock together hold about 6-7% of the total Bitcoin supply. And not forget that Bitcoin became a strategic reserve this year, about three months ago. 3 months ago, and these guys are holding about 7%. And again, BlackRock is not the company holding, but it is the people through BlackRock custodies. But Strategy and BlackRock hold about 7%. It's not only them. Eric Trump, this is fresh. This literally came out an hour ago. Eric Trump's American Bitcoin just raised $220 million to buy more Bitcoin. Treasury companies. Now, this puts an interesting perspective because if you look at the data, there are 2 times in history when the hodlers index was at these stages. So 80% of all the Bitcoin that's ever going to be in existence currently being hodled or held. 2 times that this happened. One, when we went from 48 to 30, we went from 30,000 to 73,000, an impulsive move. And the second, when we went from about 60,000 to 50,000 all the way to 105,000. So the probability of us having a massive push only buy based on this is immediately substantially higher than having a massive sell-off. Let's not forget that if you compare the gold ETF to the Bitcoin ETF, we're catching up. There is 13 billion inflows into the Bitcoin ETF and 19 billion inflows to the gold. Now, gold has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right? So people who know gold, they've been trading gold forever. The fact that there is an ETF that is fresh, 1 or 2 years old, bringing about 60% of what gold is bringing year to date, absolutely massive. A lot of people are holding. There's another narrative or another happening that I do believe can have major impact, which is July 22nd. On July 22nd, there's an announcement that the Trump administration will publish a report on Bitcoin and crypto policy. Why is this interesting? Because what we're looking for is, and I've been saying this for a long time, the question really is, in the next big narrative can be countries accumulating Bitcoin on a budget neutral way. Trump was very clear on the fact that he's very happy to allow the crypto task force to create a framework that would allow them to start accumulating Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Not just keep that 200,000 Bitcoin and just keep it as it is and have it as a reserve, but also accumulate more Bitcoin to accumulate more Bitcoin for the reserve. But they have to do it in a budget neutral way. Now, this here, this report in July 22nd, could and most likely will include some suggestions on how the US would be able to accumulate Bitcoin on a budget neutral way. Now, if that happens, that is a massive catalyst. Imagine if the US starts buying, Senator Loomis had the bill, they proposed 1 million Bitcoin purchase in the next 5 years. If that happens, Bitcoin immediately jumps to 120, 125. We're yet to see. This is July 22nd. Obviously, we will cover as we go into it. Now, all this while the recession numbers are basically plummeting, down 19%. It was all the way up to 47, 60, 70% just a couple of weeks ago. And now we're down, or months ago, sorry. We're down to about 19%. Recession is not happening. The next big catalyst that I do think will mark why we do have a massive push coming in the next 2-3 months, starting basically this week or next week, is because of the rate cuts. Now, I have been very vocal about the fact that the rate, so Trump has been pushing JP, right, for a long time. Rate cuts have to happen. The world basically cut rates. The US is one of the last countries who did not have any cuts, and it is a problem. Now, it is predicted there will be 95% probability for no cuts or no change in the July 30th meeting. There is an FOMC in July, and then there is FOMC in September, so we got 2 months buffer. But I do believe from the data that we're seeing that there might be a cut in July. Why? So a new study shows that Trump's tariffs do not create inflation. Now, you have to understand, it's very important that Jerome Powell, who's the Fed chair, has been very vocal about the fact that the reason why they stopped cutting from last year is not because of Trump, but because they were afraid or concerned the impact the tariffs would have. He was concerned, or he is concerned, that tariffs create higher prices create higher inflation will result in no cuts. And so this is what he's been saying for a long time. The problem is, or the challenge for JP now, is that there is a clear data suggesting otherwise. The data shows that prices, it says here, I wrote it here, from December 2024, I actually copy-pasted this from the report itself. Prices of imported goods have gone down by almost 1%, while overall goods prices stayed flat. See the chart below. So if you look at this, imported goods prices have been falling about 1%, while other goods that are not imported have stayed flat. That means a direct opposition to what JP is saying and referencing as a reason not to cut. Therefore, a cut has to happen. Again, I think there is a possibility for a cut happening in July. And there is one thing that could potentially stop this, not one thing, but one major thing is the politicization of the Federal Reserve. I do think that JP hates Trump. Trump has been very vocal that he's late, he's dumb, and he's just not gonna cut, because why would he? It's very simple. Guys, we're gonna do read comments at the end, but what I would appreciate you do is to like the show if you appreciate the alpha. Let me know in the comment if you're here, because I'm gonna read back. Fefe is back. Yes, I've been on holiday, but we are back here. 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙, Ren is on vacation. 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙? What is 𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙? You're cheating me with your Telegram notifications. No, I'm not. Yeah, sorry, it's probably coming from the browser. My comments are ensuring they are. Wanted to tell you one more thing, guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Fefe. I'm over at Crypto Live, bringing you trades like these on the live shows, bringing you education, and this is basically the only show you have to watch to be up to date with crypto for the next 24 hours. That's how I position, and you can get all the alpha from these shows. Now, there are a bunch of news I always cover, so you can be up to date, and that is what we're gonna do now. One is Trump on Ukraine. Now, this is the negative part, right? So I told you all the positive parts, but there are obviously potential for rejection as well, as we've discussed. The question is, what could trigger a global event that would result in a rejection here as well? One is Trump and Ukraine. We're going to send more weapons. Trump is just saying, you know, we got done with the war in Iran, Israel. Now we're just going to send protective weapons, defensive weapons to Ukraine. Again, I don't think the market really cares about this, but I do think that another front for the US is not beneficial. Trump's tariff deadline is coming up and has been pushed from July 9th. Everybody was, you know, freaking out about July 9th, been saying from the very beginning that you don't have to worry about it. One, there are already deals to most of these countries. And two, it has gotten pushed out. So they pushed it out to August 1st. It's 3 weeks, which is still substantial, but they pushed it out till August 1st. The problem is that there is a lot of confusion to trade partners and businesses, what and how and why. Now, Trump is coming out and he's saying, why is this? This is the top. I'm going to unmute it and I'm going to mute it again. This is, by the way, the Telegram. Like I have a completely free Telegram. There's a link in the description. You can join in. It's completely free because it's going to pin it in the live chat on the top here. I share my alpha. I share my thoughts. If you want to join in here, share my trades and everything, you can do that. So basically, Trump is predicted to bring a lot of announcements regarding tariffs. Good or bad, we don't know. But there is at least 7 country announcements going to happen. I do believe that some of it is going to be good news and some of it is going to be trade deals. The second thing that is a little bit frothy is that the market is a little bit frothy. So you see headlines like this. JP Morgan says, JP Morgan has been calling for a recession, by the way, just so you know. Now they're saying there's 96% chance that the stock market will rise over the next 6 months, which again, I personally agree with. But the problem is that if the majority agrees, the minority wins. You know what I mean? If we all believe that the market is going to rise, then the market is definitely not going to rise. This could be a little bit alerting. Every bad headline went away. And then Kyle, a buddy of mine, you all know Kyle, is posting here, Trump's gearing up to 7 countries with new trade actions. Copper just slapped with 50% tariff. Japan's 30-year and 4-year bond yields are spiking. US national debt. Bezos cashed out $665. I'm going to talk about this. Complete nonsense, by the way. Amazon just formed this golden cross. So we yet to see what is going to happen. I want you to know one thing and take away one thing only from this. The bear case scenario is 100,000 Bitcoin. I mean, if you told me 12 months ago that the bears will be calling for 100,000 Bitcoin, I would have told you you're an idiot. $100,000 is the bear case scenario. So does not matter what comes next. Does not matter if we go to the moon today or we go to the moon a month from now. One thing is certain, bears are crushed. It doesn't matter what you think. Bitcoin is not going down to 75,000 next week or 2 or months, or 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Bitcoin has basically stayed above 100,000 while nuclear powers have been bombing each other. So the bear case scenario is the 100,000. The bull case scenario is the moon. So I say Bezos paid $60 million for the wedding. I agree. Let's talk about Bezos here because this is something that's been pissing me off a little bit. And the problem is that everybody's like, holy shit, Jeff Bezos is selling his stocks and what does he know that we don't know? Well, let me tell you, this $665 million sounds a lot to you, but this is less than 1% of what he owns in Amazon. 1%. So people are freaking out that he's selling 1%. If you hold $10,000 in crypto, that's like you selling $100 for renting a car or whatever that is. Bro, it's crazy. Like, people are freaking out this, and I see shorts, and I see people, oh my god, when the elite starts selling shit, like, we're gonna start, no, none of that. It's less than 1% of his total holdings, which is nothing. So that's nothing. Another good news, this is True Social Crypto Blue Chip ETF is announced. So True Social, Trump's company, has announced an ETF or filed for an ETF, which is basically a bucket of spot coin holdings: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Kronos. Now, XRP and Kronos are in most likely because they're US based. I wonder why Cardano didn't make it in. I have no idea. But anyway, so XRP and Kronos, which is Crypto.com's token. This is happening. They filed for it. I'm pretty confident they're going to get it. And Trump's Truth Social is going to end. And it's also interesting that Truth Social, the platform, has been formed because Trump has been muted on all platforms and banned and destroyed on all platforms. He created this company, which is now becoming basically a treasury company while filing for an ETF. Absolutely insane. All right, let's talk about Cronos a bit. One of the major news headlines regarding Cronos came out. Airline giant Emirates announced they will be accepting Bitcoin and crypto payment for flights. Huge, huge. Huge, insanely huge. I know that our researchers are very happy. They're like, they're like, yeah. So, but it is happening here. I'm talking about Lucky, by the way. It's happening here. Emirates partnered up with Crypto.com with Crypto.com Pay as a payment option for customers. So you will be able to book your tickets with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, and probably USDT, I'd wonder. But it is going to happen. Massive, massive news for Cronos. Again, I'm a little bit salty about the fact that they unlocked 70 billion tokens. They said that was burned. So I'm not really a big fan of Crypto.com, but we'll see what comes out of this. Now, the next thing that people are buzzing and talking about is Ethereum. Because the like button, does the like button actually work? It works? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna take a sip here. I'm gonna wait for people to like. We've got like 1,000 people watching and 200 likes. $100K. Pocket money. There's no need to panic at all. I agree. My boy, Charman there. What's happening? What's happening? 110K per month. We're gonna look at it in a second. We need more calls. Papa Fefe is still holding a previous trades. Yes. And Chase comments about stocks. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it. So let's get back here. BlackRock owns 1.5% of all Ethereum. Now again, it's not BlackRock. It's not BlackRock. It's people through BlackRock. But they bought 175 million ETH worth of ETH less than 12 months. They know what's coming. Bullish. Let me go into the next headline. Ethereum's taking all-time highs, 30%. 24-hour volume surpasses Bitcoin. Ethereum's 24-hour volume surpasses Bitcoin. Ethereum treasury strategy just makes sense, meaning buy Ethereum, put it on your balance sheet, hold it as a treasury company. Bit Digital sold its Bitcoin and bought $200 million worth of ETH, now holding 254 million ETH. And then people start speculating and they're like, holy cow, this is the fourth company in the past month alone. At this pace, this is going to end up real quick. ETH is 1/9 of the market of Bitcoin, all while they stake, and staking hits new all-time high. And people are calling for treasury companies and they think that ETH is going to be the next big thing. Now, let me tell you one thing. ETH is probably great. I'm going to do a very cool episode with Andy from VX. He's a very, very smart dude, and he has a whole thesis on why ETH is going to the place where they're going to tokenize $80 trillion worth of assets, so we're going to do that. But ETH, all these treasury companies that you see, I know for a fact of being offered as well here in Europe, they have these ETH treasury companies, but it's primarily including people and companies that already do hold ETH, and they basically add that ETH into the company, and they don't acquire more ETH. They don't buy shares in a company and the company buy ETH as MicroStrategy does. They hold these ETH, they put it in a company, and they basically contribute to the treasury company this way, and they create these ETH treasury companies. So while this is, yes, exciting and can be big and whatever, I do think that people misunderstand this a lot. Now, with treasury companies, I love treasury companies. I think they're great. Great idea to get exposure. I think because of the ETFs, you don't really need this anymore, but you do have these treasury companies. Great idea, great solution. The problem starts when we see stuff like this. So Metaplanet CEO Simon says they plan to borrow, hold on to your chair, against their Bitcoin to buy profitable businesses. Maybe it's acquiring a digital bank in Japan. I'll tell you why this is a huge mistake and could actually be. So Ren been saying a long time that there will be a bubble of treasury companies, and I didn't agree with him for a long time. But now, if this plays out, he's going to be completely right. Why? Because when you have a treasury company, and the treasury company's only job is to issue shares, people buy those shares, so you have money, cash in the bank, and you take that bank and you buy Bitcoin with it, and therefore your net asset value will always be there because that's the money you put in. You don't have, you know that you bought X amount of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is always going to be there. So if you calculate with your running costs, you're going to be fine. But if you start taking loans against your Bitcoin that you purchased with the money that people bought your shares with, you're exposing yourself to risk that is going to implode at some point. So if that company that you think is doing so well now because it's profitable businesses or whatnot, they could actually be doing very badly, poorly in the next 12 months or 8 months, or there could be mismanagement of funds. There could be a lot of other things that could put your Bitcoin at risk. And the way these companies, mark my words, are going to implode, and the way these employment is going to happen with these companies is through them leveraging their Bitcoin, borrowing against their Bitcoin or their token for that matter, and that borrowing will be invested in places that will not benefit well, and they will not have, because the market will dip, they will not be able to cover and pay their loans, and that will basically ruin all these major, or most of these major companies. Now, I still believe, I tweeted this, and I still believe that in the next bear market, the real buying opportunity will be Bitcoin treasury companies below their net asset values. So if you look at a company, if I hold 10 Bitcoin at $1 million, and this company sells its shares for $900 million, you can look at it, why that is happening, and you will probably be able to get very, very good deals, but you will need to wait for a long time. So this is going to be the next big thing. I do think that a lot of treasury companies that are building today will go bust, but I also think this could give us a very great opportunity later. Another massive news is Phantom. Phantom, shout out to Phantom. Like, I think they are incredible. Phantom and Hyperliquid both, but Phantom is just absolutely incredible. They introduced perps trading in 100+ markets with leverage, perpetual trading with leverage, powered by Hyperliquid. So you'll be able to trade. You'll be able to trade within your Phantom wallet. 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙 is like, holy cow, what's happening? It is happening, bro. It's news. This is why you're here. Guys, again, if you don't know, I see we have 1,000 people. If you don't know who I am, I'm replacing Rand for a week or two. My name is Fefe. I'm over at 24/7Crypto. I bring you trades like this. I bring you market analysis. I bring you my thoughts, the latest alpha. If you watch this show every single day, you have nothing else to do. You will be up to date with everything you need to know about your portfolio and about the market. You can follow me on X. There's a link in the description. You can find my tag here. And of course, if you are new to the channel, just subscribe to come here every single day. Now, what else do we have here? So that's that. What else did I be? Yeah, Phantom, Hype. So I think Hype is always a buy. Always a buy. But yeah, this is kind of scary that we have 40 million in Hype unlocked. Most of it is probably going to be restaked, but I would not buy Hype before July 15th. We'll see how and what and when that happens. And then I have to comment on this, bro. Like, I can't go. Like, I've been, you know, I don't want to say I'm like a big Trump supporter, but I kind of am. You know, I think Trump did a tremendous amount of good for the space. I think the policies that he's making, I can align with most of them with. But I have to talk about this shit show, bro. Like, this Epstein files not being released, it is a problem. It is a massive problem. So here's what Trump had to say yesterday. Yeah, just listen to this.
The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If I could.
So Trump basically interrupts Pompani, who is she should not be interrupted, right, as the head. And then here's what Trump says.
Sure.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
And he goes, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems.
Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if they're doing it because he can't control the L that way and he can get to the goals or whatever, or he's really on the list as well. I don't know why would he. The reason why it doesn't make sense to me, because why would he openly say for months and months and months to release the Epstein list, when if he knew he was on it. But anyway, one thing that I noticed, and you can call me a conspiracy theory, I hope this video doesn't get banned on YouTube, but again, if you follow my shows, you know that I speak freely. I don't care really who says what. So one thing that was very interesting is that Caroline, who I actually like, Caroline Leavitt, she has a cross in her neck, always. She didn't have her cross out when she announced that the Epstein list, there was no list. So you can call me whatever you want. I think this is a horrible thing. I'm also making my mind up about the whole thing. I think the fact that Trump has been lobbying for a long time about the fact that there should be an Epstein list released. Pam Bondi said that they do have tens of thousands of footages of them and influential people, and then they go out and they say there is no client list. I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem, but that's a story for another day. Guys.
Breaking news. NVIDIA just hit 4 trillion market cap.
What is it?
NVIDIA hit 4 trillion.
NVIDIA just hit 4 trillion. Let's see the bubbles. There must be something on the bubbles here. Breaking news. NVIDIA just hit $4 trillion in market cap. This is bent bubbles. Let me see here. Do we see it there? NVIDIA just hit 4 million market cap. NVIDIA has 4 trillion, sorry, market cap, first company to do so. Congratulations. This guy has been a janitor. You know that? This guy has been cleaning toilets at hotels, just like I did. Been cleaning hotel rooms and whatnot, and he created this company that just hit $4 trillion in value. Congratulations, Jensen. Absolute legend. Absolute legend. All right, so TLDR, guys. Here's what I can tell you. What I'm looking for is the following. I'm looking for a push here. I see that a lot of people just joining in, so I'm going to do a TLDR here on the market. I do believe that this can be a massive, massive push or can be a trap. I do think that this has to be taken on the total market cap. We're looking at 3.37. We're pushing, looking at a push here. Probably a dump in New York, which is going to happen now. It is absolutely possible. Which is, you know, it's fine. We still hold here at 3.32. If we hold 3.32, I think we're fine. We can retrace down to 50%, then all the way push here. And then I believe that we have to reject from the 3.41. We're gonna have a consolidation. If we break a 1 hour low, we're going lower, possibly down to the 3.17, which means 100,000 Bitcoin. Or if we don't reject, then we can see a massive, massive push to all-time highs in the next month or two. And that is also obviously very plausible. I'm going to keep you updated on X. This is my X account, so you can follow me there. There's a link in the description. Just pull up this. There's a link in the description. Also obviously very plausible. I'm going to keep you up. Oh, there's a link in the description down here to all my stuff. I have a free Telegram channel where I update you on my trades. I update you on everything I do. There is the interview that I invite you to watch with 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗪. He's the head at digital assets at VanEck. So go and check that out. And of course, I have a trading channel. It's called the 100X Club, where I do all the trading. And I'm going to do today because we have school coming. And if you are not in school, if you have someone who is still a non-believer and wants to learn about crypto, you can come and join us. We do have cohorts running every single week. The next cohort comes. Is it 20 days? Is that possible? I think this is a mistake here. It must be. You can sign up. There's a link in the description to our school. We run it with Ren. Tell your friend. There's a link in the description, and invite anyone who wants to learn about school. It's right here. And then again, I'm just waiting, layering in the next leg. And I know I'm down on some of the positions. Down, for example, 8% down on this 𝗔𝗟𝗄 position, which is not good at all. But this is the way to go. Oh, and there is a competition happening. There is a Bluffin Wharf Whales competition happening. 4.2 million on the Tesla Cybertruck. Go and check that out. Bluffin is one of my go-to exchanges. I like Bluffin. I trade on Bluffin all the time. Again, if you follow my content, you know. Non-KYC available worldwide. And now they have this competition based on volume, P's and PLM. So you can just go. If you sign up using my link, you get bonuses and you get qualified immediately for the competition. So it's legendary. Guys, truly appreciate being here. I'm going to be here all week. And I'm going to be here next week. So we're going to do all that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Smash the like if you have liked it. Check out one of these videos. This will be a video from the 100X Club, which is my trading channel, a trading education. You can learn more about trading. There will be a playlist here that you will be able to check. Playlist from 24/7 Crypto, where I'm usually live. You can click here to subscribe. And just enjoy your day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.